Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, JC, and welcome back to my channel once again, and welcome to a Zombies Versus Episode 3. I just want to apologize right now about my hair, about this room. I've just been trashed lately, alright? Like, I just don't look good. I don't look healthy. That doesn't look healthy, whatever that is. I don't know if that could be a bed back there. I don't know what that is, but today we're gonna be doing a Zombies Versus. And if you don't know what that is, essentially a Zombies Versus is like a things people say, but with an actual vote by you guys. So at the end of this video, there will be another Zombies topic that you guys can vote on once again. But before we get to that, we gotta talk about the vote on the last episode and what you guys said about it. So on the last episode, I asked you guys, who is the best Zombies crew other than our original 4 characters? Who's the best Zombies crew other than the main characters?
Buba.
What did you just say? What did you know to Buba?
Other than the main characters?
Yes.
The Mom of the Dead dudes, no doubt. Buba.
Zetsubo no Shima?
Yeah, that one.
That's a map, not a crew.
You guys always talk about Buba. I've never played.
So let's start off with you Shadows of Evil folk. Chordzilla or Chordzilla says, I personally prefer the SOE crew because each character is unique from the other, and for one map, they develop a lot. My favorite character has got to be Nero, by the way. I like Nero as well, especially the infamous line, the very, very infamous line.
Ah, it appears that the shield is
quicker than the eye. Yes, I would like some candy.
I don't speak Japanese along with this says the SOE crew has brilliant voice actors. They pull out the funniest quotes as we get to see them experiencing the zombie apocalypse for the first time. They always mock the weird game mechanics. We get points for this? As if they were breaking the fourth wall. I chose them not only because of our beloved Jackie F and Vincent, but the others also have funny quotes. All of them are good characters with interesting backstories, similar to the Mom of the Dead crew, which would be my second option, of course. We'll get to them in the future. I also need to say that Nero stands out, so much so that in my opinion, he is the best character that isn't part of the main crew. He's truly amazing. So I guess it's safe to say that maybe you guys like the SOE crew not only because of the Jackie F and Vincent memes, but also because of the other characters like Jessica, like Nero. They all have pretty interesting backstories. I think they're pretty interesting characters, and I don't think they're bad at all. I personally don't mind the Shadows of Evil crew that much anymore. I used to kind of, be very wary of them because I'm like, oh, they started off Black Ops 3. We didn't get our main characters, but only in the Giant in the beginning of Black Ops 3. But at the same time, it sort of saved room for our main characters to be in the rest of the game. And I think the Shadows of Evil map on its own with those characters is unique, and I really, really like it. And I think a couple of years from now, a lot of people will really respect those characters a lot more. Now let's move on to the Call of the Dead crew. DRTS Gaming says, this is my favorite because it is the first time we had well-known celebrities to be on zombies. Michael Rooker made it hilarious, and that's probably why he was in BO2 as well. Now I wonder what happened to poor George. That is a very good question. What the heck happened to George? I mean, he was invincible, right? I mean, we could just take him out of the game for a few rounds, but we could never permanently kill him. It was impossible to just get rid of him. I mean, he was always going to be alive. So what happened to him? Did he just, after he killed the Call of the Dead crew at some point, did he just keep walking the earth, scouring the earth for more actor buddies? I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but it's kind of funny to think about. Another thing that's intriguing to me is that, like this comment said, this was the first time Treyarch decided to roll with another crew for zombies. This is the first time they put celebrities into zombies. And I think if it wasn't for this crew being so loved and being so liked by the community, I don't think anybody really hates the Call of Dead crew at all. But if it wasn't for this map just being liked in general and just the Easter egg being loved and things like that, I don't think Treyarch would have done more celebrity casting in the future. I think they would have shied away from it and done more of just our main crew. So this was definitely them experimenting a little bit, seeing if they could tell some different stories here and there, and I think it worked out for them in the end. To add to this, Soul Trapper says, I choose Call of the Dead because you play as Michael Rooker, Robert Englund, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Danny Trejo. What's not to love? That's counting out the funny quotes, the fact that they use explosive sniper rifles and get chased by George the whole time they kill zombies. And if it wasn't for them, the main 4 would be skeletons in a metal box. Now, I know that zombies has been going on for a long, long time now, so a lot of you guys probably didn't play Call of the Dead when it came out, but Call of the Dead was a very, very interesting map because you played as these celebrity characters, right? And they were supposed to be in a movie set, but it turned out to actually be a zombies apocalypse in the Black Ops 1 universe. But the thing was, our main characters weren't actually absent from the map. They were teleported into Call of the Dead by accident by Richtofen. He was looking for the golden rod, which he needed for his entire grand scheme on Moon in the future. Not only this, but the characters were trapped in a wall in the map. So the original 4 characters that we all loved were basically trapped in the environment of the map, and you couldn't see them, but you could hear them. So the Call of the Dead cast had to basically help them get the golden rod for Richtofen so they could leave and escape. So technically, if it wasn't for the Call of the Dead crew, Richtofen's whole grand scheme from Black Ops 1 to 2 probably would have never worked out the same way at all, because he wouldn't have the golden rod. That means no blowing up the earth, none of this Maxis vs. Richtofen and Black Ops 2, none of that would have ever existed, and our storyline would have been completely different if it hadn't have been for this crew in Call of the Dead. And I think that's what's very, very cool about this crew, is that they, at the surface, don't seem like they're that important and that they don't really matter that much, but they had such a significant part in the story, and I love that Treyarch did that with these characters. I just thought that was very, very cool. Now let's move on to another crew that many of you guys like, the Mob of the Dead crew in Black Ops 2. Liam Richards says the quotes, the quotes, and I agree with you completely. The quotes and Mob of the Dead were just listen.
I can't change the past. I wish I could, but I just can't.
Am I stuck here until I see the error of my ways? Until I repent? Well, you're gonna have to wait a long time, because I don't regret a damn thing!
They're just so good, man. So good. Death Donut says, I really enjoyed the Mob of the Dead crew. They were the first to really acknowledge the cycle aspect of zombies, which pretty much set the basis for BO3. They were the first to have an Easter egg that ended the game and have 2 endings, with breaking the cycle or continuing the cycle. Plus they are gangsters, which are a bunch of baddies, and that is true, my friend. That is very, very true. But this map did a lot. These characters, this map did so much for zombies. I mean, just the Easter egg itself having 2 endings and breaking the cycle and just setting the stage for the whole Black Ops 3 storyline in such an early way, and we didn't really see it at the time too much. A lot of us, saw Mob of the Dead and were like, oh, this could possibly be foreshadowing our zombie storyline, but I don't think too many of us really expected how much that foreshadowed the zombie storyline. I mean, it really was a metaphorical representation of what we would experience in Black Ops 3. It pretty much foreshadowed everything, like 100%. Adding on to this, Renegade says, I think that all the zombie crews are good and they all work for the maps they are in, but my favorite would have to be the Mob of the Dead crew. The quotes were amazing. They really helped create that sinister vibe that Mob of the Dead has. I love the whole idea of the characters being trapped in an endless cycle and how they're being punished. And the map really picked BO2 up off the ground, and I think the crew is absolutely perfect for it. These characters, this map, these characters, everything about Mob of the Dead, it really saved zombies in BO2. So many people were turned off by, just BO2's starting place. Like, a lot of people were just so upset with how it was going. And then when you have this map that in of itself has its own story, with its own characters, with its own backstories, and it's just such a deep, simple, it's such a simple yet deep story in one bonus mode map that it's just incredible, I think. I really enjoy the Mob of the Dead characters so much, and just having this whole story about how the Weasel was the one who got killed, on the rooftops, and then they had to actually allow the Weasel to kill them to break the cycle. It was really intriguing. It really gave you that vibe of, we're in hell, this is purgatory, and we never really saw zombies get that deep before and get that dark out of nowhere. We never really saw, we saw satanic things in the past, but this map screams the devil in almost every single way. And like this comment says, having these characters being punished for their sins, having these characters experience something that could possibly change how they looked at their past deeds, it was unique for its time. And I thought this was an amazing crew for zombies in Black Ops 2. And like this comment says as well, it picked up BO2 off the ground, and I think personally it saved zombies in the BO2 season. It just really, really did. And I think the characters and their backstories definitely have a huge part in that. Now, let's talk about the interesting crew, the one that's very controversial and a lot of you guys probably hate, a lot of you guys may love for certain reasons, but let's go into the Transit crew and why you guys pick them. The Real MHM channel says, the Transit crew, you know why. Moving on from that, Ballistic Beast says, I love the Transit crew. They are so highly underrated. Well, everyone likes Misty. You know why. What is up with that? You know, I love Marlton because he's an outcast who never really showed his full potential, and he was a sissy is what I'm trying to say. Russman had an interesting story. I think he was losing his mind. And lastly, my least favorite, Stuhlinger, he ate a freaking zombie. What a savage. I like this comment so. What a savage. I think it was very, very interesting that Jimmy Zielinski wanted to create a character, and he had to actually bring this up in the room meetings for the zombies team. He had to actually sit there and go, we're going to make a character that ate zombies to live. That's just, it's very odd in of itself. Adding on to this, Callum says, the transit crew. I voted for the transit crew because A, Misty is hot as hell. I should have figured that. B, they have a kind of modern shade on them. This is very interesting. I could really connect with some of the characters like Marlton. He's a nerdy guy who can still kick A. C, Stuhlinger's connection with Richtofen was very interesting storyline wise. The fact that he could hear Richtofen edging him on in the Easter egg was interesting, and also the comic is involving Richtofen and the transit crew as well. And D, the mystery behind Stuhlinger and especially Russman is intriguing. Stuhlinger's past of eating zombie flesh is gory and creepy, and Russman's very vague explanation of his work at Broken Arrow is interesting, and I hope they touch on this in the comic book. I think they will in the next issue, by the way. I don't think people will vote for this crew because the maps they were in were quite underwhelming compared to Mob of the Dead and Origins. Either way though, they are my personal favorite crew. By the way, please put me in the video. Well, you made the video, Callum. You made the video, so congratulations there. But I actually really do agree with a lot of your comment here. The transit crew and the character structure around them goes a lot more deep than many people want to believe. Personally for me, and please don't kill me here guys, but I actually like the transit crew to some extent. If we saw them again at some point in the future or any future game, I wouldn't mind it actually. I think it'd be kind of cool to flesh out their characters more. And I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous to say considering so many people hate them, but I feel like if the first map, like if Transit and Die Rise were actually well-made maps, like I know a lot of people like Die Rise, but let's just say Transit, okay? I think if Transit wasn't such a bad map to begin with in BO2, I think a lot of people would have loved these characters a lot more, especially than they do now. I mean, pretty much everybody hates these characters, and every time you talk about them, you refer to them as the Transit crew. I mean, their crew name is literally the worst map in zombies history, what the community thinks is the worst map ever, and that's a bad thing. I mean, that's just not a good thing at all. And if the first map would have been awesome, I think a lot of people would have warmed up to them at the beginning, or at least would give them a better chance of being a cool crew and a unique crew. It's just so many people were turned off by them in the beginning that it didn't really matter in the long run. But I will say these characters are really, really interesting. They didn't just want to make 4 bad A heroes that could do everything. They wanted to create characters that were really different. I mean, you have a guy who's just like a former agent who has his memory completely, like he seems like a hobo, right? He seemed like a guy who didn't really have anything interesting about him, but he has this interesting backstory that we still don't know till this day. We still don't know what he did at Broken Arrow and what he was a part of, and that's very intriguing for Russman as a character. And you have someone like Stuhlinger, and I'll have to admit he wasn't my favorite character either, but you gotta admit, Treyarch did some creative things with his character. I mean, they basically said, hey, we're gonna have a character and only Richtofen controlling the zombies can talk to Stuhlinger because he ate zombies. I mean, I don't know where they came up with that idea on paper, but it's pretty crazy. And when I look at it in hindsight, it just makes me love zombies even more. Just all the crazy things they used to think of back in the day. That's what I live for zombies. And these characters were very different, and I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think these characters are as bad as many people make them out to be. And like I said, if I ever saw them again in the future, especially in the comic books, I love seeing them in the comics. I don't know why. I just love seeing their redesigns as well and how different they work as a team in the comic books. And I would love to see these characters again at some point. I don't know how they would do it. They probably wouldn't do it because it would just piss a lot of people off, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. But anyways though, that's enough about what you guys said about them. Let's read the results of the last vote. So, who is the best crew in zombies other than the main crew that we all know and love? Starting in 4th place, and this is gonna surprise a lot of people. This is definitely gonna surprise a lot of people, but in 4th place, we have the Call the Dead crew. surprisingly, a lot of people didn't vote for the Call of the Dead crew, and that kind of makes me sad because they're one of the, I mean, like I said with that comment, they were the first celebrity cast we ever had in zombies, and they really impacted the zombie storyline a lot with finding the golden rod for Richtofen. But yeah, they came in 4th place with 552 votes. Now between the Shadows of Evil crew, the Mob of the Dead crew, and the Transit crew, the 3rd place vote goes to, and this is once again gonna shock you guys as well, the 3rd place vote goes to the Shadows of Evil crew. Yes, that's right. The Transit crew scored higher than them. The Shadows of Evil crew is 3rd place. And to be honest, that surprised me too. I really thought the Call of the Dead crew would have done better than the Shadows of Evil crew, but what do I know? What do I know? And just to give you some more numbers, the Shadows of Evil crew got 693 votes. So they basically beat the Call of the Dead crew with just a little bit more than 100 votes. Now, I'm afraid it all comes down to this. Who is the winner? Who is the winner of the title of the best crew other than the main crew, which is a very sucky title, but the winner of this entire vote, the winner is, you ready for this? You ready? I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready at all. The 5 crew. Okay, in all seriousness though, we all know who won, all right? The Mob of the Dead crew won. I mean, let's just be real. They won. The Mob of the Dead crew won with 1,357 votes, and the Transit crew came in 2nd place with 695 votes. So yes, that's right. The Transit crew beat the Shadows of Evil crew by 2 votes. That's right. The Transit crew got the 2nd place. They got the little blue ribbon. That was them, 2nd place. But I think that we can all agree that the 5 crew should have won, because they were left out of the voting because I forgot about them. I don't know how I forgot about them, but I did. And they probably would have done pretty good, so I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Fidel Castro. I will never say that sentence in my life, but there you have it. There you have it. So, what's next for Zombies Versus? What is the next thing we're gonna be voting on today? Well, this is gonna be the battle of the Overlords in Zombies, that's right. We're gonna be doing a vote, and you guys get to choose. Who is the best Overlord / God in Call of Duty Zombies? Is it A, the Shadow Man, or is it B, Dr. Monty? We're gonna be putting them head to head, these two fellas. I know the Shadow Man's dead. I know we killed him, but like, you know, who is your favorite out of the two of them? Do you like the Shadow Man more, or do you like Dr. Monty more? Be sure to vote at the end of this video for who you want to win the next Zombies Versus. Thank you guys so much for all the comments on last week's episode. It was awesome reading through them and just seeing all the different crews you guys liked and all the different opinions on it. I know there's a lot of just differing opinions out there. The Transit crew, honestly, I think if there's anything we learned today is that the Transit crew isn't as hated as many people are made out to believe. So once again, this has been me, JC, and thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.